on the Arizona Sports app and on 98.7. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Burns and Gambo starts now.
Straight up 4 o'clock on this Wednesday afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome into today's edition of the Burns and Gambo Show here on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. My name is Dave Burns alongside the one, the only, John Gambadoro. Hi, Gambo!
Burnsy, what's going on?
Not much, my friend. How we doing today? It's straight up 4 o'clock. We good?
Straight up 4 o'clock?
Yeah, right. Like right on the nose.
There we go.
Right
2-hour show.
2-hour show.
Do you prefer coming on later? On these days, on these wacky days that we have sometimes, do you prefer starting at 2 and then ending early, or coming on later and going to 6?
Coming on at 2 and ending early.
Okay.
You? Your preference?
I think I prefer it this way. I think I prefer it this way a little better.
Yeah, because I mean, like, think about when you were a kid at
just watch
school.
the game, yeah.
If you had a half day at school,
right.
Like, you have a half day, you want to go home by 11 o'clock, right? Like, you don't want to say,
right.
Hey, it's a half day, but you have to come in at lunch and stay till the end. No, I'd rather
come
in
get it
early.
over with.
So you're the same or you're the opposite? I'm confused.
I think the opposite.
You're the opposite.
I think this is. I like this a little.
You
better,
like it better like this? Okay, so take your time getting in. Come on a little later. Okay.
Well, I watched an entire baseball game. I've got that to talk about, so I have that extra thing. You know,
no doubt. I get it. Look, either way, hey, short show. We're here, and it's time for our top story of the day on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Burns and Gambo, the weigh-in.
Stanek ready. Here comes the 0-2. Reached for and a one-hopper to second, collected by Acuna. His throw to first in time. The ball game is over. The Mets take the finale. They take the series, taking 2 of 3. Your final score is 7-1.
Yeah, Chris Garagiola with a call earlier here. A lot of things to not like about today's game, Gambo. You start wherever
I'm
going to
start with this. I'm done. I'm done talking about the Diamondback baseball. Okay, that was last year. This Diamondback, we got to get back to playing Diamondback baseball. We got to get Diamondback baseball from last year and the year before, sure. This year, Diamondback baseball, no go. Corbin Carroll out stealing in the first inning, a delayed steal. He was out by a mile. Eugenio Suarez gets thrown out by the plate by a mile. Like terrible jump on that ball. Like the errors, Tawa with an error. Lucky that didn't come back to haunt you. Merrill Kelly came up with a big strikeout there, but this is not. This is the Diamondback baseball. This is Diamondback baseball. Sloppy base running, errors, misplays all over the field. That's Diamondback baseball this year. That's Diamondback baseball. I'm not lying. I'm not sugarcoating this. I'm not happy about it. I love this baseball team. But we keep saying, oh, yeah, Diamondback baseball. You got to get back to playing Diamondback baseball. That's gone. That's gone. That team's gone. This team makes a lot of mistakes. This year's Diamondback baseball is that. Base running blunders, errors, missed throws. That's what we're seeing.
Are you saying that you believe there's no time for them to rediscover that from the last couple of years? I'm
saying that this is who they are. This is who they are.
So you're saying there's no chance. There's no chance for them to
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, how many games have they played
You're saying this is who they are now, today,
37
now.
baseball games. This is like 37 games to wait for a team to stop playing so sloppy. 37 games to wait for a team to field the ball correctly, run the bases correctly. Like, this team beats themselves. They beat themselves.
Yes, they do.
But that's who they are. That this version of the Diamondbacks is not. We can't keep going back to the well. Diamondback last year, Diamondback baseball, right? Create chaos, great base running, great defense. That's gone. It's gone. I haven't seen it this year.
No, I haven't seen it. Torrey's looking for it. Torrey keeps asking for it. Torrey keeps trying to find it.
It's gone.
It hasn't been there yet. I mean, there were a bunch of them today, and you mentioned a couple of them. The caught stealing was really bad. Throwing out at home plate was really bad. The Perdomo sack bunt, really, really bad.
Terrible
in the
bunt.
bottom of the third. And the problem with today's game was, I mean, you're going up against one of the best pitchers in baseball in Senga, okay? He's going to walk 5 guys in the first 3 innings. You have to make him pay for that. You have to make him pay.
Nothing.
And when you can't make him pay for that, you're screwed. You're just as soon as it's like almost as soon as it got to the third inning, and it's like, man, a Herrera leadoff walk, a Carroll walk first and second, nobody out. You couldn't get any runs off of that. You know, it's like I don't know if you're going to be able to.
You're going to third inning?
Going to third inning.
It
almost felt like the game in the third. Like, okay, that's it. If you're not going to be able to break through against this guy, then you're not going to, because he's really, really good, and he's giving you these opportunities. Eventually, he's not going to give you these opportunities anymore. You're just going to have to figure it out, right?
I just think, in all honesty, like if you said, what defines Diamondback baseball so far this year? Poor base running, sloppy defense, no timely hits, and a shaky bullpen. Like that's I mean, am I wrong?
No, Gambo. All I'm trying to do is push you to see if you think it's going to be like this the rest of the season. That's what I'm trying to find, because you make it sound like you've made up your mind. This is who this Diamondbacks team is going to be in 2025. And if you think that's who they're going to be all year long, then they're not going anywhere. You're basically kind of saying, hey, this team's just not good enough to get where they need to go. And I know you're not saying that, but I'm just making sure you're not making a definitive declaration that you don't think this team is capable of fixing this. Do you think this team is capable of fixing this as it is right now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you'd think that some of these things are correctable. You would think that they're correctable. But again, this is what's defined this baseball team this year is sloppy defense and poor base running and not getting timely hits and, bullpen again. I mean, I understand Lovello not wanting to go into high leverage guys right there, in that baseball game. But all of a sudden a close baseball game just completely gets away from you. I mean, Beeks gives up the, was it 3-0 when Beeks came in? I think it was 4-0.
Yes, it was.
Next thing you know, next thing you know, the game just gets out of hand. It's 6-1 after the Lindor 2-run double, 7-1 after the Soto sacrifice fly. And I understand you're not using the high leverage guys. You got to save them for tomorrow against the Dodgers. I get it, but it sucks.
They even speculated during the TV broadcast. Bob Brenly even speculated that's why taking out a lefty to bring in another lefty, because they want to save the good lefty for the Dodgers when it comes in tomorrow, so the pitch count doesn't get it run up too much.
Right.
As far as the like 30,000 foot view. The season series is now tied 3-3 between these two teams. They're done with each other. They won't play again the rest of the year. So it's going to go down to other tiebreakers if it even comes down to that. The Diamondbacks are now 9-10 against teams with winning records. The Diamondbacks are now 12 games into this 25-game stretch where they play nothing but really good teams. So far during those 12 games, they are 5-7. So they're just about halfway there in this 25-game stretch, and they're 5-7. They have won just one of their last 6 series, the Mets series last week. Beyond that, they've lost to the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves, the Rays, and the Cubs. So it's a little bit of a malaise that they're in right now. There's no question about it. Today's win would have been a really nice, big kind of swing-type moment, win a series. Zack Gallon was terrific last night. Beat the Mets again, show that you're worthy against these quality competition and these quality teams. And so far it hasn't happened. Merrill Kelly, I guess if you're looking for positives, Merrill Kelly didn't cramp up. He was able to finish the game. At least he was able to give you the 6 1/3 innings. That's a positive, right?
That's a positive. That's a good positive. I thought he pitched great. I always feel terrible for any pitcher who's pitching his ass off and the offense can't score any runs for him, because you're like, okay, you're going to get a loss. Merrill Kelly pitched really well today. I mean,
ran out of gas at the end. Ran out of gas at the end. No doubt.
Lovello, said, I was trying to get him through the 7th. I mean, after what Gallon did, I know we're going to talk about that, but you're trying to not use your bullpen so much. You're trying to not use your bullpen so much and try to get 7. But Merrill Kelly was outstanding. I mean, only the 1 home run to Soto. He was really pitching well. The good news is he didn't cramp up. I mean, that's good news. He didn't cramp up, but he ends up taking a loss in a game in which he played very well.
Here's Troy Lovello after the game on Merrill Kelly. Just that.
Yeah, he was cruising. He was doing a really nice job. He was pounding the zone, had a real nice fastball, good command. He had a changeup that was just clipping the bottom edge of the bottom corner edge of the strike zone, arm side, and Look, he was in a really good spot. So I had made a decision at 84, 86 pitches to send him back out there to complete the 7th. I had total confidence in that part of the lineup. He was going to be able to do it, but he just maybe ran out a little bit of gas.
And as far as, you talk about the little mistakes, the things that are not what we're accustomed to, but have become more of the norm this year for the Diamondbacks. Troy Lovello took complete total responsibility for the Perdomo sack bunt. Here was his thinking.
That was for me. it's kind of that gray area, and my projection was I wanted to get us to a lead, protect Merrill with our positive role relievers. This is a part of the game that the common fan may not understand. I have one of two choices. Look, there's two roads for me to choose. If we're ahead, I choose option A, and that's where I feel like we're going to go out and win a baseball game. Option B are the negative role relievers, where there's a chance we can get banged around a little bit. So I wanted to protect Merrill with the lead, and the reason why I have to choose option A and option B in certain situations is if I choose option A, I don't have them ready for tomorrow. So I was going to sell out on one side of it. So it was my call, 100%. We talked about it. We used bunting as a weapon. Truth be told, 2-0, I was going to take it off and let him hit, but it never got there. We got to be better in a couple situations. It's got to bunt strikes. You hit strikes, you bunt strikes. Exact same thing. So maybe let the pitcher throw a couple more balls. He might get himself in a different situation.
Look, and there's no doubt you're right about this. The little things this team has just defined itself as being so good at the last couple of years. They've not done that at all this year, at least not consistently this year. And it's like, what was it Torrey said the other day? He said we're like, our concentration level is like 20% less than what it needs to be, and I can't figure out why. Today was one of those games where it felt like, more of the same. You're operating about 80% of what we're used to seeing you, and in that 20% is where you're losing these games.
Yeah, I would have said to you last year, and Geraldo Perdomo is one of the best bunters in baseball. I mean, incredible bunter, just an incredible bunter. So you just expect him to get that down. You expect Corbin Carroll to steal a base. Maybe I don't expect Eugenio Suarez to be able to score on that double because, he's not the fastest guy, but he just got a bad jump. But how many times have guys just gotten, Alec Thomas got a bad jump the other day, stealing second base. He was out. I was at that game. Eugenio Suarez got a bad jump today and wasn't able to score. It's just the little things. Game of inches, right, Bernsey? Game of inches, and little things cost you. And too many times this year, little things have cost this baseball team.
So the Diamondbacks, no rest for the weary. Dodgers in town for the first 4 tomorrow. It's going to be a big respond kind of moment for them. And no break in sight. They're going through a long stretch now without an off day. No chance to really reset things, so you can kind of understand Torrey and his hesitancy when it comes to the bullpen and committing to the high leverage guys, because he's got to be cautious with those guys in this moment. When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show, after I remind you about your opportunity to treat mom to a day at the ballpark, head to the contest page now at arizonasports.com. It's your chance to win tickets to see the D-backs take on the Dodgers on Mother's Day. Yesterday, it was Brian Gregory Day. Promoted to general manager of the Suns, introduced to the media. There reportedly some other change that happened in the front office as well. We'll talk about that next on the Burns and Gambo show.
Subscribe to the Arizona Sports YouTube channel
to watch and listen to exclusive conversations and content.
From Bickley and Murata, Wolf and Luke, Burns and Gambo, and more. Search up Arizona Sports on YouTube and hit the subscribe button.
Hi, I'm Carol Rice with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Many homeowners move out of necessity, which is why I developed my Guaranteed Multiple Cash Offer program, giving you up to 6 of the best offers, including at least one at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. A fast sale doesn't have to mean settling for one lowball offer. To get multiple offers, call me, Carol Royce, or visit carolhasthebuyers.com.
Carol and seller must agree on price and possession.
Hey everybody, Dan Bickley here with a real-life story from Life Changer Loan. So one of our listeners is in the pool business. His wife stays at home with their kids. They're far from wealthy, but they're responsible with money. They owed over $500,000 on their home at 6.5%. They changed to a Life Changer Loan. They're paying off their home in 8 years, saving over $490,000 in interest. Find out what Life Changer Loan can do for you at 480-504-0844, online at lifechangerloan.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
A lot of personal injury lawyers make claims about how good they are. But how do you know who's the best? Who will fight to get you the money you deserve? At Berg Simpson, we don't rely on simple claims like other firms. We have 22 best lawyers in America, 17 super lawyers, and we're one of the National Trial Lawyers' top 25 most influential law firms. Compare us to other firms, then call Berg Simpson.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 602-777-7000. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers, changing lives.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Arizona sports.
As the owner, my job is to, make those changes.
Suns, a new horizon.
We will win championships with an asset here in Phoenix.
Shaping the Suns' future this offseason with Burns and Gambo.
First year as a consultant, I was in Phoenix probably 2 to 3 weeks out of every month, which wasn't bad, to be honest with you. But what I did in that is spent a lot of time with the players, spent a lot of time with the coaches. I did travel with the team, did a lot of different write-ups for front office personnel in terms of evaluation of players and different things like that. I was also given the opportunity to work with our amateur evaluation group, which was a tremendous group, and I grew immeasurably during that time in terms of the ability to evaluate and gather intelligence on players and so forth.
That is the voice of Brian Gregory, new general manager of the Phoenix Suns. He was introduced yesterday. We carried the press conference live here during the Burns and Gambo show, and we've pretty much been reacting to it ever since. The dust is starting to settle on the move, obviously, and we're getting used to it and comfortable with it and starting to think about, okay, kind of what's next and head coaching and things like that. But there is still a little bit of looking back to be done before we look ahead on this and try to figure out what's next for the Suns. And Gambo, you sent along a story today that I believe you saw on SportsIllustrated.com that came from, it was aggregated from Brandon Scoop B. Robinson,
right,
who is reporting that assistant GM Gerald Madkins, as well as manager of player personnel evaluation and a couple of scouts, are no longer with the Suns. Now, that in of itself probably isn't huge news, given that there's a new GM and that there's going to be some changes. What's interesting is who's taking credit for drafting Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro, or finding Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. And was it the guys who just left? Was it Brian Gregory? I mean, that is what seems to be in a little bit of contention here, because that was at least part of the foundation upon which the case was made for Brian Gregory was his role in Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro.
I know when Ryan McDonough got the job here, it was like, oh, he gets credit for bringing Rajon Rondo to the Celtics. That's like, but, when you spoke to the Celtics, like, yeah, he had a part in it, but there were like 4 other guys that liked Rajon Rondo too. It's like there's a lot of people like Rajon Rondo. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who Scoopy Robinson is. I'm not doubting his reports. It might very well be correct that these guys are out, and that there is different people trying to say that they're taking credit for the the drafting of Ryan Dunn and Oso Aguadaro. However it worked out, they had two good players, and I think they both have a future with the Phoenix Suns, and I'm happy they're here. And whoever did it, whoever got those guys, I think it's good. And you're going to have to get a lot more of those guys because you've got 5 picks in the next 7 years, and none of them are your own, so they're very likely going to be high picks with all the swapping out of those picks. So you've got to hit on more of those. So am I shocked that that there are other guys that are leaving, that certain guys are out? No. None of us should be surprised by that. There's changes in the front office. That's what happens. But who takes credit for Dunn and Iguodaro? Very likely, my knowledge of this is that several people always have a say in it. Because you got a bunch of people sitting in a room, and okay, we're coming up, Ryan Dunn. It's not where one guy is pounding the table for Ryan Dunn, and you got 7 other guys like, nope, absolutely, we can't do that. It's usually a consensus, Bernsey. It's usually like, who do we like? Okay, we like Ryan Dunn. Okay. And you come to a conclusion as you're putting your draft board together. You like this guy, and it's usually a consensus that everybody agrees we're going to try to go get this guy. Maybe there was one lead guy that pushed for it more than somebody else,
right?
But eventually everybody else comes around on it.
Yeah, I got a couple of thoughts on this one. I mean, number one, I know that Brian Gregory spent, the first year of his time with the Suns as a consultant, as he mentioned just there a second ago. When he officially got hired on by the Suns as more than a consultant was, I think Kellen Olson pointed out today on ArizonaSports.com, was about 16 days before the draft in which they got Ryan Dunn and Oso Aguadaro. So, any idea that Brian Gregory was the guy when it came to those selections, it requires a little bit of suspension of belief to think that somebody who had been officially an employee of the Suns for 16 days had a huge role in bringing them on. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have a role in when he was a consultant, suggesting them, pushing them, advocating for them, whatever the case may be. But to your point, and it's a good one, this is where things get kind of cloudy about this. And the second point I wanted to make was I remember very well around the time of transition between Ryan McDonough and James Jones, it was always a little fuzzy about who was responsible for Mikal Bridges. Who liked Mikal? Who didn't like Mikal? Who wanted to draft Mikal? Who didn't want to draft Mikal? Right? And it was right. And I know, I'm sure you remember the same thing. It was a real trying to get to the bottom of exactly, was it James and Ryan went along with it? Was it ultimately Ryan's call because he was the GM? I mean, it was a very nebulous. Mitch,
wasn't Sarver's name thrown around in there too?
There was back then. It was hard to know who was responsible for anything because it was all, to Gambo's point, like this kind of collective shared. Okay, who's actually making the decision? So I'm not surprised at all that there's a lot of uncertainty about who's and look, I think the other thing too, Gambo, is
right.
I like Ryan Dunn and I like Oso Aguadaro. I do. I think they're good building blocks for the future. Let's not make it out like these guys.
Oh, I know. You're so right.
I mean,
You're
it's
so
like,
right.
Come on, everybody. It's
right.
Both of those guys made multiple appearances on our show. They're good guys. We like them. They're a part of the future. Slow down, all right? It's not like we need to argue over who drafted the two great finds of the 2024 NBA draft.
I mean, they could develop into something. I mean, because again, you look at Ty Jerome and how well he's done. You look at certain players. I mean, you look at Tamani Kamara. So we can't, so I am hopeful that these guys develop. But after 1 year, yeah, we're not sitting there and saying you just drafted Tyrese Halliburton.
No.
Oh, by the way, last night, oh my God.
Oh my God, Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton, yeah.
Overrate this. He said in his post-game press conference, they were chanting overrated at him in the Cleveland.
That one was unexpected. I didn't know we had beef, but yeah, I guess good for them, man. That came out of nowhere, but it's just, I think now that label's there, they're all, that's what it's going to be every time we play somebody. Every time on the road, he'll probably follow me until the next poll comes out, and then we'll see if I'm number one again. But, for me, I just control what I can, man. And, overrate that.
Overrate that. Because remember, on that athletic player poll, he was ranked as the most overrated player in the NBA by his peers. Players in the NBA voted him as the most overrated. Anyway, we got off topic there, but that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's like if Ryan Dunn and Oso Aguadaro develop into really good NBA players, it's not going to be because they were drafted. It's going to be because they were coached well.
Developed.
They were developed and they were taught well. Not necessarily because they were drafted and not like some California gold rush to claim responsibility for who picked him and who didn't. It's a little silly when we think about it.
A lot of coaches that I speak to, and when I talk about Ryan Dunn, I say, the easiest thing you could fix is your shot. You can fix your shot. There's a lot of guys that came into the league and didn't shoot very well early, and then they ended up shooting very well as you progress. I mean, you work on it. I mean, it's a skill you hone. So that's something, Ryan Dunn's shot can get better. I mean, it absolutely can. And I expect that it will. I expect that Ryan Dunn will become a much better shooter. He came into this year as a guy who couldn't shoot, can't shoot, leave him wide open, can't shoot. And, I think if I expect that he is going to put the time and effort in, and he'll get better as a shooter.
As far as anything, pretty much all quiet on the Western Front when it comes to the Suns today. There haven't been any leaked reports of coaches, at least none that I've seen. If you've heard of anything, please let me know. But I don't. I
think tomorrow we'll be able to go through some of these names. I think we're very, very close to finishing up the first round of all the Zoom calls.
Oh wow, okay. Okay.
Yeah, good. I think they began, I believe, on Friday. Actually, I think Friday or Saturday was when they started them, and I know some of them that have taken place. I think they're. Again, I expected a wide net cast. I don't think I'm wrong here. 14, 15 guys. Initially, Zoom calls. These Zoom calls have taken about an hour and 15 minutes. They go over, what kind of identity you want, what kind of structure you want, how accountable, what kind of defense, what kind of substitution patterns. They're going over all these things and just trying to get a feel. Gregory's running it. He's running it. Good. He's the voice. Okay, so good. I can tell you that. I mean, I can tell you that with certainty. It's Josh isn't answering these questions. Matt's not answering questions. It's Gregory. So I know for a fact it is Gregory that is in there on these calls, running everything, asking all the questions, and I think he'll be the guy that takes it to the next step. Now, I do think eventually when it gets down to 3, then you'll have, everybody that has something to say in it is going to interview him. But I think Gregory's going to be fully in charge of, vetting everybody and kind of narrowing it down to a list of about 3 finalists.
When we come back here on this Wednesday edition of Burns and Gambo, has Zack Gallon reclaimed his position as the ace of the staff, or is it just something about taking a bite out of the big apple that he likes? That's next on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Friday afternoons at 2:30 on Arizona Sports. Burns and Gambo talk Diamondbacks baseball with D-backs manager Torey Lovello. Brought to you by Estrella Jalisco. Don't miss Burns and Gambo with the skipper. 2:30 Friday afternoon. Listen on the Arizona Sports app and 98.7.
Every day, helping, caring, supporting. Every day at APS, we're here to provide payment assistance programs to customers in need. We recognize how important it is to keep your bill as low as possible. Our Energy Support Program offers eligible customers discounts of up to 25 or 60% every month. Pay down your bill with crisis bill assistance and other programs and resources. Learn how you can get help with your bill at aps.com/brighter.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See team for full details and disclaimer.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity Band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
I'm Mitch Vareldis with Trending Now. It's presented by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Final from Chase Field today, 7-1 Mets. And it's the Mets who take that series 2-1. Corbin Carroll in the loss hit his 11th home run of the season, dead center, while Merrill Kelly threw a quality start, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, and 6 strikeouts. Next up for the Diamondbacks, first of 4 games against the Dodgers at Chase Field. And Friday, you get to see those new City Connects as well. In case you missed it, new Suns GM Brian Gregory introduced himself to the Valley yesterday. We've got complete reaction from our Kellen Olson and our Dan Bickley that you can read right now on ArizonaSports.com and the Arizona Sports app. And in the NBA playoffs right now in the East, the Boston Celtics have a commanding 24-11 lead over the New York Knicks, winding down in the first quarter. That is likely going to be a large separation throughout the first half. The Celtics currently trail that series 1-0. And then later tonight, we've got coverage of Game 2 between the 4-seed Nuggets and the 1-seed Thunder in Oklahoma City. That coverage will start at 6 over on ESPN, 6:20 a.m., and on the Arizona Sports app. And that is what's trending now.
Here are the top 3 headlines on ArizonaSports.com, brought to you by Y-Refi. I'm Tyler Drake. Small mistakes keep adding up for the Diamondbacks in another loss to the Mets. Fans continue to send Merrill Kelly jars of pickles to help with his cramping. And Suns GM Brian Gregory says next head coach needs to understand physicality in the modern NBA. Those are your top 3 headlines on ArizonaSports.com, brought to you by Y-Refi.
You know, you hang around this business long enough, you see things that you never thought you'd see. You read things you never thought you'd read. Fans sending Merrill Kelly jars of pickles to help with his cramping issues is today's entry for, I've been in the radio business since 1993. I never really thought I'd say those words into a microphone, Camp. It's like, okay. I mean, you've been suggesting Pedialyte to everybody for the last year when it comes to Merrill Kelly. I guess fans have gone the pickle route when it comes to...
Torrey got ice cream sent to him. I think that's a little bit better than pickles.
I think you're right. I thought you don't like pickles.
No, I like pickles on like a sandwich.
Sometimes I like just a pickle. Just a good big dill pickle to snack on. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I have a crazy favorite sandwich. I like light toast with like liverwurst cheese and pickles. Like one of my faves.
Really?
Yeah, liverwurst.
Light toast,
I toast it lightly.
Liverwurst cheese and pickles.
Liverwurst, I'm like a slice of American cheese and then pickles with mayo. Love that sandwich. It's like one of my faves.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, things is
odd
liverwurst
sandwich,
a cheese or is it a meat?
No, it's a meat.
It's a meat, but it's called liverwurst cheese?
Liverwurst, yeah. Okay. And then you just get the liverwurst and now you add a slice of cheese.
Oh, the liverwurst and the cheese. Okay, the liverwurst.
Like a combo,
okay,
like
you said
provolone,
liverwurst, comma cheese. Okay, I got you.
And then
like
a slice of cheese or 2 slices and then pickle and mayo, and that's like one of my go-tos. I love that.
I got you. So Diamondbacks lose today 7-1. We talked about that game at the start of the show, and it's not like we're trying to bury it or forget about it or pretend it didn't happen, because obviously it did. But we haven't had a chance to talk about what happened last night. And last night, Zack Gallon was really, 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 really good.
On a night, we talked about a pregame, right? On a night where you're asking your starter to go out there and do the type of stuff that Zach's capable of doing. And, we watch it from the first pitch until his 101st pitch, where he was in total control.
Gambo, Torrey said he actually had a dream that Zack Gallon was going to do what he did last night and save the bullpen and go deep into the game. Yeah, it was that big of a deal to what they needed.
Dreaming about Zack Gallon having a great outing.
Yeah, I have weird dreams. I've never dreamt about Zack Gallon. I know that. Tori must. I admittedly have very weird dreams. I've never dreamt of Zack Gallon. So there.
He is now allowed 3 or fewer runs in 8 of his past 9 starts against the Mets. He is great against the New York teams. I saw Arizona Diamondbacks Stats and Info put this out there. Versus teams from New York, he's got a 0.91 ERA with 19 2/3 innings pitched.
And 27 strikeouts,
27
right?
strikeouts in 19 innings. Against everybody else, he's got a 7.01 ERA. So everybody else, he got an ERA of 7. The New York teams, he's got an ERA of a 0.91 in those 3 starts. He was great. He retired the 11 straight at one point after he gave up that bases-loaded walk to Alonso. Then he retired like 11 straight. He looked great. He looked like he did when he pitched against the Yankees, at Yankee Stadium, which I think was his best start this year. And his last start against the Mets was fantastic, and this one was great. And this is what I think we had both said this. Like, we're not worried about Zack Gallon. I'm not worried about Corbin Burns. I'm worried about the bullpen. I'm worried about the offense. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about those 2 guys. Those 2 guys are proven commodities. They're going to get the job done.
Yeah, I wasn't on the list of things that I worry about with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And admittedly, it's to our point earlier in the show and what we were talking about. It's kind of a long list, and what I'm worried about more than other stuff. I've got like a power ranking of what I'm worried about with the Diamondbacks. Not that worried about Zack Gallon. I'm not that worried about Corbin Burns. It's just when you get off to the start that they did, and it took them both, 4 or 5 starts to kind of find their groove and find their rhythm. I could think of a half dozen things off the top of my head that I would just automatically say I'm more worried about than I am about either one of those guys. But it was good to see, like, everybody kind of recognized the moment. He needed to go deep in that game, and they needed him to go deep in that game because Torrey really needed to reset and rest the bullpen. And we're going to talk about the bullpen in a little bit. We haven't forgotten about that, both in terms of what happened last night and again today. But they needed exactly that kind of performance from him. There was one other note about the game, and I wish I could remember where I read this. I think this was from Alex Weiner in his game recap this morning on ArizonaSports.com, presented by Y-Refi. The Jose Herrera-Zack Gallon combo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On the season, of the 3 starts that Zack Gallon has made with Jose Herrera behind the dish, 4 runs in total for a 1.89 ERA. Can anyone say personal catcher? Bring it.
Yeah, I think
Bring
yes.
it.
And that was odd yesterday because it was a late decision.
Yes.
Right? It was like it was a late switch from
like
Gabby Moreno
30
starting
minutes
to
before
Herrera.
the game, 45 minutes before the game. Yeah.
Manager's decision. That's all we heard was manager's decision. But take out today, they both went 0 for 1 today. Gabby Moreno is batting .233. Jose Herrera is batting .200. Herrera's got a homer, 4 RBIs. Moreno's got no homers, 5 RBIs. You look at him and say, on base percentage. I mean, Herrera's not an offensive catcher, but neither has Gabby Moreno hasn't been an offensive catcher either. So, it's you're not really sacrificing much by going with Herrera.
No.
Like you decide, hey, I want Herrera to catch Gallon. I want Herrera to catch. It's not like Gabby Moreno's Johnny Bench, for goodness sakes. He's not hitting.
No.
He's not hitting.
No.
So, like, if you want to go with Herrera, go with Herrera. I mean, they both give you the same amount of offense.
But it's also not like Gabby Moreno is just an offensive catcher either. Like that's the beauty of Gabby Moreno is that when he's right, he is that very rare commodity of a perfect blend of both, right? Very good defensive catcher, a good offensive catcher. Players like that in today's baseball, they're very rare. You don't have a lot of them. And so if you're the Diamondbacks and you think you have one, you want to nurture that and protect it. But to your point, yeah, it has not happened yet this year at all. It has been nothing but a struggle for Gabby Moreno. And I guess just for me, I'm looking at Zack Gallon in particular. I have never, ever, ever had a problem with like the personal catcher thing. If there is a catcher, it's got to apply to one of your aces, okay? But if you've got a catcher that one of your aces just vibes well with, man, lean in. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't try to, go ahead. Make Jose Herrera the catcher for 4 out of every 5 starts that Zack Gallon makes. If these are the kind of results you're going to get, who would have a problem with that? I would hope nobody would have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Randy Johnson liked Robbie Hammock at a time, and you go back to those years, you always had a lot of teams always had that one. And now if you have Tim Wakefield had a certain catcher that could catch the knuckleball.
Yeah.
But sometimes the top pitchers have these personal catchers.
Yeah. In fact, I'm trying to remember with Randy and Kurt, it was Kelly Sinnett and Damian Miller, and I think one of them.
Schilling loved Miller.
Was it Schiller? Okay, because I remember there was one where it's like,
Miller.
No, I'm throwing to that guy. That guy is going to catch me. Like it's just that's how it's going to be. I think that's how it went down, but I can't remember. That sounds about right. The other thing about Gallon too, and we didn't get a chance to get to this yesterday, because we were busy with the Brian Gregory stuff. There was a story from Jeff Passan on ESPN.com about MLB's next $600 million star. Now, he's not suggesting that Zack Gallon is going to make $600 million because he's not, but he kind of broke it down by like, okay, who are the next guys who are going to make $100 million? Who are the next guys who are going to make $200 million, $300 million, $400 million, etc.?
Start at the top, though. Start at the $600 million because there was only one guy.
Gunnar Henderson.
I thought it was kind of interesting who it was.
Gunnar Henderson. Maybe a $600 million guy. Even that, he wasn't sure.
Right, and Gunnar Henderson was the 2023 American League Rookie of the Year, just like Corbin Carroll was the 2023 National League Rookie of the Year.
That's a really good point.
I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop thinking about it when I saw Gunnar Henderson, $600 million, and you look at him, and you now with Corbin Carroll hitting for power?
Boy,
with Corbin Carroll hitting for power,
you've given me a brand new way of looking at this.
That's how I looked at it.
I'm looking at like, okay, the $500 million guys are Kyle Tucker and Ellie De La Cruz. The $400 million guys are Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens. $300 million club: James Wood, Wyatt Langford, and Jackson Churio. If Carroll doesn't sign the extension with the Diamondbacks and everything stays the same, including his production, which one of those columns does he land in?
He's a Gunnar Henderson.
Is he $600 million guy? God, man, that's. I mean,
yeah.
Whoa! Thank God they signed him when they did.
He's a top 5 MVP candidate.
I know.
Gunnar Henderson right now is batting .252 with 3 homers and 5 RBIs. You want to compare him to Corbin Carroll this year?
Yeah.
Gunnar Henderson's got 3 home runs and 5 RBIs this year in 27 games. Now, last year he hit 37 homers and drove in 92 runs, and he hit .281. Corbin Carroll's probably going to hit you .280. And now Corbin's going to be a guy that hits you 30-plus homers and drives in a bunch of runs. What did he hit? His 11 today? That thing was a bomb to center field. Yeah,
I think there's only 3 players in baseball who have as many or more home runs so far this season.
But how many ballparks would that have been a home run in?
I don't know. Okay,
That's what I really want to know.
I'll say this, though. Gunnar Henderson, because he plays shortstop, that might be what elevates him to the $600 million club. You mentioned the MVP voting in the National League.
Yeah.
2 other guys that were on that list with Carroll are part of the $500 million club, and that's Kyle Tucker and Ellie De La Cruz. I wonder if he'd be more in that column than in the $600 million column because Henderson plays shortstop, and that just gives him a little extra oomph defense. It's a little bit more of a premium position than right field is.
Kyle Tucker was in the $500 million one, huh?
Yeah, Kyle Tucker was $500 million. Ellie De La Cruz.
Say goodbye, Lauren. He's leaving.
Mitch?
All 30 parks.
Leaving.
There you go, Gambo.
Oh, all 30 parks.
All 30 parks, that would have been a home run. There you go. There you go.
By the way, of Zack Gallon, he wrote that while Gallon's stuff has ticked down this season, he's been a consistent enough innings eater with a high enough strikeout rate to warrant inclusion among the $100 million players. However, his elevated walk rates in each of the past 2 seasons are a concern for a pitcher whose fastball sits at 93, so he needs to work on that if he wants to stay in the $100 million group. So Jeff Passan almost suggesting like, hey, Gallon, probably going to get paid, but if he wants to make sure he gets paid, there's some things he needs to work on a little bit. He looked fantastic last night, but I thought that was interesting that he wrote that.
Yeah, I mean, Senga walked 5 today. I mean, guys walk batters. It's like, I don't know.
He's going to get paid. I have no doubt in my mind Zack Gallon's going to get paid. I just don't know.
He's young and he's dominant and he's going to get paid.
Who's going to pay him? That's all. When we come back, overrated? Tyrese Halliburton says overrate this. Next on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Bickley and Marana Mornings. Brian Gregory came to Michigan State and they formed a really deep relationship. So Matt Ishby and a couple of others would always work with Brian Gregory to sort of be the scout team. And if you read anything about that Michigan State championship team, the narrative was they never had a bad practice. And it's something that Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia took great pride in. That was their role on a championship team. So clearly the idea, I know this guy, I really like this guy's going to help me recreate what we had at Michigan State. The dots they connect themselves.
Bickley and Murata, mornings on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
Lund Mortgage Team helping so many people out right now. More and more people are calling the Lund Mortgage Team because we've seen house prices come down in the Phoenix area. House prices in Phoenix coming down, market correcting a little bit, and that's good for you renters out there. It's very, very good for you renters out there to see that some of these prices are coming down. What does it mean? It means that if you get pre-approved for a mortgage with the Lund Mortgage Team, they will help you. They will help you. Supply now outweighing demand in Arizona's housing market. Yes. Metro Phoenix homes are significantly newer than most U.S. cities. You're starting to see all these stories right here where house prices are dropping, and that's where you renters can call the Lund Mortgage Team, get pre-approved for a mortgage. This might be the perfect time to jump in and take advantage and get yourself a house. Good inventory out there. Prices coming down a little bit, and you might be better off buying a house than renting. Call the Lund Mortgage Team at 623-889-0130. That's 623-889-0130.
Bankruptcy, foreclosure, bad divorce? Don't worry. Desert Wind Harley is now considering all credit applications. Couldn't get financed in the past? Don't worry. No perfect credit, no cash down, no problem. Get financed on a new Harley today. Visit desertwindharley.com.
On approved credit.
Hang on a minute. I got to break in here and tell everyone about the Memorial Preview Sale going on now at Brooklyn Bedding. That's right, now through May 14th. Everything in-store and online is 25% off. Everything is 25% off at Brooklyn Bedding. Brooklyn Bedding has 12 basin locations and absolutely no pushy salespeople. Tell them Wolf sent you and they will hook you up. For the best sleep ever, get the best mattress ever during the Memorial Preview Sale at Brooklyn Bedding.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Shane Company engagement rings are expertly crafted to fit both your style and your lifestyle.
My wife's an artist and works with her hands. Shane Company helped me create a ring that's beautiful and sleek. She loves it.
Shane Company rings are crafted with care using high-quality materials, and we set each center stone by hand in our jeweler's workshop right here in our store. We also protect your ring, including the center stone, with our unmatched free lifetime warranty. Let us help you find your perfect ring, in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
When you need something notarized, the UPS store is here to help. Stop in or schedule an appointment to take advantage of our notarizing services. We'll make your documents official, help you make copies, and send your notarized documents wherever they need to go. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Hey, it's Vince Murata. Join us Thursday morning. We'll review how the D-backs ended their series with the Mets and get ready for the first visit of the year from Dodgers. Boo! Starts at 6 here on Arizona Sports.
Tyrese Halliburton, overrated.
That one was unexpected. I didn't know we had beef, but yeah, I guess that, I mean, good for them, man. That came out of nowhere, but it's just, I think now that label's there, they're all, that's what it's going to be every time we play somebody. Every time on the road, he'll probably follow me until the next poll comes out, and then we'll see if I'm number one again. But, you know, for me, I just control what I can, man. And, yeah, I mean, overrate that.
Overrate that.
Good player.
Yeah, good player, big moment. Got his own offensive rebound off of a missed free throw. I
Then
agree.
he runs it back.
He
ran it back.
Ty Jerome on his hip, right? Like just had a yo-yo string, just kind of okay, and it just gave a nice little juke step back three, drained it. What a moment for him. What a moment for them. And I agree with Chuck on this one. What a choke job by the Cleveland Cavaliers. An 8-0 run in the last 45 seconds of the game. And the Pacers are up 2-0 over the Cavs. Man.
I honestly thought the game was over. The Cavs were running away with that game, just absolutely running away with it. And that was just incredible. Almost a miracle win. Trailing by 20 in this basketball. They were trailing by 20 in the third quarter. They were down by 14 at one point in the fourth quarter. They were even down 7 points with 58 seconds left. And then this incredible, Halliburton hits a layup. Donovan Mitchell hits 2 free throws. Naismith has this putback dunk after Siakam missed a free throw. Terrible job boxing out by Cleveland on that one. Naismith went right through him and grabbed the ball and dunked it. Mitchell has an offensive foul. Siakam scores on a layup, makes it a one-possession game. Cavs turn it over. Halliburton hits 1 of 2 free throws, rebounds his own miss, and then hits a 3. Oh, my God, what a finish. What a finish for the Pacers.
Donovan Mitchell had 48 points last night. They were playing really shorthanded. They might be really shorthanded again. And that dream season in Cleveland is just on life support after losing the first 2 at home. Look, we'll get to the Warriors and the Timberwolves game here in a second because we saw that last night too. But I tell you, that say what you want about the first round. I'm not a huge fan of the first round of the NBA playoffs. It's kind of like, getting the riffraff out a little bit and let's get down to brass tacks here with the really good teams and the really important stuff. So far, and I know we're just a few games in, boy, the second round of the NBA playoffs is delivering, man. I mean, it really is bringing the goods in terms of shocking results, competitive games, big-time comebacks, big-time players doing big-time things. I know not everybody is down with how long the NBA playoffs or even the style of the NBA game. So far, this second round has been really, really entertaining stuff.
I loved this. I'm curious your opinion on it because we always talk about can you hire a coach that will hold players accountable, right? Mm-hmm. Did you see what Finch did with Anthony Edwards?
I got it right here. Can I play it for you?
Yeah, play it, please.
Chris Finch after the game.
As the shots kept missing, did you see guys kind of mentally struggling with that?
Yeah, sure. I absolutely saw that, and can't have that. It starts with Anthony. I thought he struggled early, and then you could just kind of see the light go out a little bit for a while. And then, obviously we had to try to get him going in the second half. But, I think, it was one of those games where he kind of came out with a predetermined mindset of what he was trying to do and just rather than just playing the game that was in front of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
There you have one of the young stars of the game, one of the young superstars in the game being called out by his head coach.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that?
No.
Hey, you know what? I mean, and that guy, more than any coach in this league, has found a way to do that to players. He's criticized his players before, called out players before, and got them to show up. Against the Suns, he's done it. He did it, So he's done a really good job of being able to do that without, players being angry with him.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I really thought, quote, I thought he struggled, and then you could just kind of see the light go out for a little bit for a while. Coaches should be able to say that about their players publicly but it is rare. It doesn't happen very often. Most coaches they might say that behind closed doors. They better be saying that behind closed doors. But publicly like that? Yeah, no, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
For what it's worth, Ant-Man after the game disagreed.
Coach was saying that he relies on you to set the tone from the start, and he didn't quite see that. Do you feel like you were off at all just in that department, or just kind of the way that you started the game?
Nah. I feel like I played great defense. I just couldn't do nothing on offense.
There you go. I tell you what, Steve Kerr earned his money last night as the coach, losing Steph Curry halfway through the second quarter,
right,
and then blanketing Minnesota with that zone defense and just watching them shoot themselves right out of that game. They did not make a single three-pointer in the first half. They were 0 for 15. That stretch ended for 0 for 16 into the third quarter before they finally hit one. I think they were 5 of 29 when it was all said and done, 7 for 47 in the last game against the Lakers in their previous series. And Steve Kerr, without one of the best players in the NBA, now he still has good players on his roster. I'm not saying he was, dealing with, Lauren, Mitch, you, me, and Jamal, right? Like he still had Jimmy Butler out there and Draymond Green and whatnot. But Steve Kerr put the whammy on Minnesota last night with that zone defense, and it messed them up big time. That was a big win for Golden State last night without Steph Curry.
It was, but now he's going to miss game 2, right? It's already been reported he's going to miss game 2. They said it's a grade 1 left hamstring strain. He's going to miss it, I think, at least one week.
He'll be reevaluated in 1 week, according to the report.
Okay, so that means he also misses games 3 and 4.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it does because there's only one day in between each game until they get to a 3-day break between 5 and 6. So maybe he's back by game 6, right? Like, so he could miss 2, 3, 4, and 5 and then have that 3-day break and get ready for game 6. Maybe he's back for 5 if it can be, but yeah, it's gonna be a real struggle. But it's gonna be on Jimmy Butler. It's gonna be Draymond Green, Brandon Pajemski, all those guys to kind of to take up the slack, and with no Steph out there.
Sometimes playoffs are defined by teams that suffer big injuries. I mean, look at the Cavs. 3 guys out, they end up losing. Curry's going to be out now. The Suns that run to the finals, every team they played going into the NBA Finals was down a key player. How many times was Paul George and Kawhi Leonard out for playoff games? So, sometimes that you do everything you can to try to be healthy for the playoffs, and then a lot of times you're playing all these games in a short amount of time, and it catches up to you.
When we come back on the Burns and Gambo Show, if you missed it, there was day baseball today at Chase Field, and the Arizona Diamondbacks dropped yet another series. That has been, unfortunately, the trend for the last few weeks. We'll talk about that trend. We'll talk about the effort to help Merrill Kelly. It's all next on the Burns and Gambo Show.
You and your phone have the key to the Arizona sports universe with the Arizona Sports app. Live streaming shows and podcasts. Plus, listen to D-backs play-by-play. And on score! Download the Arizona Sports app, presented by Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning.
Back here to tell you about the law firm of Berg Simpson and the hope that you don't do what my wife and I did when we got into an accident a bunch of years ago. What we did was not call anybody. What we did was not call Berg Simpson. What we did was thought that we could handle it on our own because the accident wasn't our fault. We thought everything was just going to come nice and easy to us because, we were the victims and we were the one whose car got destroyed and we were the ones who were dealing with a bunch of injuries. We made a huge mistake in not calling Berg Simpson, and that's why I'm asking you not to do what we did. If you're in an accident, if you need help, you need to call Berg Simpson. I'm telling you right now, that ever happens to us again, it's the first phone call I'm making because they are the best team to represent you. A law firm filled with some of the best lawyers in America. One of the most influential law firms is listed by the National Trial Lawyers. They're different, and they're going to show you why. 602-777-7000, 602-777-7000, or visit them at bergsimpson.com. Berg Simpson, good lawyers, changing lives.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Fast, reliable, trustworthy, reputable, highly decorated. Those are all words used to describe Parker & Sons, the company you call for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Listen, you need to trust who you let into your home and who you let fix your home, and that's why you call Parker with your sacred space, a company that has served the Valley for 50 years. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
So your neighbor's home hasn't sold yet, huh? Homes are sitting longer and buyers are being picky. If you want to avoid being one of these 6,000 home sellers that have given up this year, you have to talk to Carol Royce, your home sold guaranteed realty. She'll show you how to price right and attract serious buyers. Plus, Carol will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay the difference. Call Carol Royce today or visit carolhasthebuyers.com. That's carolhasthebuyers.com. Carol and seller must agree on price and possession.
Hey, it's Wolf. The Valley's heating up, and if you're tired of battling that Arizona sun, call my friends at All Pro Shade Concepts. Their roll-down patio shades and retractable awnings are the real deal. Cooler patios, no glare, and total privacy. Now through Memorial Day, for every shade order, All Pro Shade will donate a pair of running shoes to a service member through their partnership with Shoes for Soldiers. So cool down your patio and support our heroes. Go to allproshade.com.
Tell you about asset preservation, wealth, and tax every day, because Stuart Willis, who's been handling my finances and does a great job for me, can absolutely help you every step of the way. Financial planners, you want to put your future in somebody you trust. Meet with Stuart Willis, meet with Asset Preservation, Wealth, and Tax, and find out why they can be trusted to help you with everything. Your retirement plan, your tax services, your estate plan, Roth IRA conversions, annuity advisors, pension rollovers, they do it all. A lot of people like retire, they've got their pension. Well, their experienced pension rollover advisors offer various options catering to diverse financial goals. You can get a personal portfolio review for those of you that are retiring and you're like, hey, I've got my pension, I want to roll that over. How do I do it? Annuity. Their experienced annuity advisors offer various options catering to diverse financial goals. They're here to help you see if annuities are right for you. Roth IRA conversions might be right for you too. If your income is too high to contribute to the Roth IRA outright, they're going to help you. Give them a call for a free portfolio review at 602-877-PLAN. That's 602-877-PLAN.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
KMVP FM Phoenix.
Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
On the Arizona Sports app and on 98.7.
I'm Mitch Varel, with Trending Now. It's presented by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Final from Chase Field today, 7-1 Mets. And with it, the Mets take the series 2-1. Corbin Carroll in the loss hit his 11th home run of the season, while Merrill Kelly threw a quality outing, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits allowed, 3 runs scored, and striking out 6. Next up for the Diamondbacks, it's the first of 4 games against the Dodgers at Chase Field. It's also the first time they will face a divisional opponent this season. In case you missed New Suns GM Brian Gregory's introductory presser yesterday, we've got complete reaction from our Kellen Olson and our Dan Bickley that you can read right now on ArizonaSports.com and on the Arizona Sports app. And in the NBA playoffs, we'll start in the East. We're about a minute or so until the half in Boston, and the Celtics currently holding a 49-36 lead over the New York Knicks. The Knicks currently lead that series 1-0. Later tonight, we've got coverage of Game 2 between the 4th-seeded Nuggets and the 1st-seeded Thunder in Oklahoma City. Nuggets up 1-0 in that series. Coverage will start at 6. That'll be over on ESPN 620 AM and the Arizona Sports app. This report is brought to you by the Desert Institute for Spine Care. Desert Institute for Spine Care is the best in the Valley for 14 years and counting. If you need your neck or spine looked at, Go with the best. Online at sciatica.com.
Hey, it's Wolf. Which Arizona Cardinal is poised for the biggest breakout in 2025? We'll discuss tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's Wolf and Luke on Arizona Sports.
I'll need a little tip jar on short skirt, long jacket, please, from Kate. Thank you. Welcome back, 5 o'clock hour here on the Burns and Gambo Show. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Earlier today, we're a shorter show today on the front end because the Arizona Diamondbacks, in most frustrating fashion, Gambo very frustrated by this one. 7-1, the Diamondbacks lose to the New York Mets, in which, as Gambo was railing on earlier, and rightfully so, all the little things that the Diamondbacks pride themselves on doing so well.
They don't do.
They're not doing them yet so far this year, whether it's sacrifice bunts, whether it's getting thrown out at the plate, whether it's caught stealings on late breaks. I mean, it's just all these little things that you look at it and you say, okay, they lost 7-1, they got blown out. This was a close game for most of the game. And so
absolutely.
those little plays just are absolute killers because you don't know what course this game would have been set on if Corbin Carroll steals that base effectively, or they take advantage of the walks, or Perdomo gets the sack bunt down in the third. Like, all those little moments really added up today.
Yeah, it's a 1-0 game going into the seventh, and the only thing you had is the home run by Soto, who hit two of them, and it was in the sixth inning off of Kelly, and it's 1-0 going into the seventh. Then you run into a little trouble in the seventh. Merrill starts to tire a little bit, and you get him out. It's still 3-0. The opportunities were everywhere for the Diamondbacks, and that's why it's really frustrating to me. Corbin's out stealing on a delayed steal, and he was out pretty easily.
Yep, he was.
Go ahead.
No, you said, yeah, he was. I was agreeing with you. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, Suarez walks in the second. Alec Thomas drives one into the gap. I mean, that should score just about anybody, but Suarez is out at the plate. Didn't get a good read and jump on it. You've got, Herrera walks and Corbin walks. You got the first two guys on in the third, and Perdomo, bad bunt. They throw the guy out at third, and then Pavement hits into a double play. The frustrations are everywhere. Tawa made an error. Thank goodness it didn't come back to haunt Merrill Kelly. Just on a routine ground ball, hit right to him, and he bobbled it. Now, he's been a good player for them. But again, that's what has frustrated me, because we are used to this baseball team under Torrey being a team that is very disciplined, very good defensively, very good on the base paths, do all the little things right, and tangible team that wins baseball games because they're smart. This team is anything but that. This team has made so many mistakes all year long. It's really what's defined them, in my opinion. They don't have timely hits. The bullpen's malfunction, but they make a lot of mistakes on the base paths. They make a lot of mistakes. Suarez with all the throwing errors. And so that, to me, is like we talk Diamondback baseball. This year's Diamondback baseball so far has been defined by all the things that they don't do, that they used to do right.
Totally agree, 100%. And it's in today's game was just filled with moments like that. And so now the season series against the Mets is tied 3-3. So if it comes down to a tiebreaker, you have to move on to the next tiebreaker at the end of the season. Diamondbacks would have had a chance to win that tiebreaker with a win today. The killer in this one, Kodai Senga, one of the best pitchers in the National League, 5 free passes in the first 3 innings, and obviously none of them came around to score. We're almost halfway home during this brutal 25-game stretch that we've been talking about for a while. Diamondbacks have played 12 of the 25. They're 5-7 so far, with so many games in there that could have swung the other way, that could have been difference makers, that could have flipped that record even and just made it 7-5, 12 games into the 25 game. How much better would we feel about everything if they were just 7-5, 12 games into this 25 game stretch, as opposed to 5-7? I think it would make a huge difference in how we feel about it.
Yeah, I still believe, I really do, that this team, with the starting pitching that they have, because we've seen Burns pitch well, Gallon's pitching great, Kelly's pitching great. I don't mind what I've seen out of Eduardo Rodriguez. I think he's pitched fine.
I agree.
I think he's pitched really well. And Fott, outside the one game in which it was rainy and he couldn't get a grip on the ball the right way, he's been terrific. I think their starting pitching is very capable of helping them go on a run where they can win, 8 out of 10 games and start to, move well above 500 instead of hovering around 500. But the offense, I mean, I don't know about you, man. I'm looking at the Reno stats every day now. Like I'll tell you right now. I'm not even looking. They lost 15-0 last night. They lost 15-0. Barossa batted first. I think Lawler was second, Jake McCarthy third, Trey Mancini fourth. Every day I go look at the Reno stats. I do. What did Lawler do today? He had a hit yesterday. They lost 15-0. He had a hit. It's like every day, like they need some kind of spark because this team's inability to come up with timely hits is really that's part of defining them too. Is they can't come up with big hits.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not laying today's game at his feet, but I really do think there was a moment for Ketel Marte to introduce himself to the 2025 season, and it came and went. He got today off. Yeah. The protocol to return and all that stuff. They're trying to take it easy with him. He came in a pinch hitting situation, first and third, 2 out, bottom of the 7th, and in 2 pitches he grounded out. And when he came up, I thought, this is it. This is Ketel's welcome to 2025. I finished in the MVP voting last year. I'm back moment. Gambo, I know he's missed most of the season with the injury. He's only got like 41 at-bats. He's got 1 RBI on the season so far.
No home runs for him. No home runs for Marino. No home runs for Grichuk. No home runs for, I think it was one other player. It was like 4 guys that haven't hit a home run yet. And I don't know where they stand in the home runs. It's always been Suarez and Carroll. Carrying the team. But you're right. I mean, Ketel Marte is you're expecting it. I thought yesterday, okay, this is your time. This is your time to come out and get that home run against Peterson, and he hasn't done it. But yes, he has 1 RBI in 42 at bats.
Yeah.
Gurriel's starting to swing the bat a little bit better now.
Yes, he is. I think the other player you're thinking about was Alec Thomas. He's got
Alec Thomas. So Alec Thomas, 95 at bats, no home runs.
Yeah.
Gabriel Moreno, 87 bats, no home runs. Grichuk, 54. Marte, 42. No home runs from any of those guys.
Now, I'm not trying to put lipstick on a loss here, but the one good thing about today's game was that Merrill Kelly got into the 7th inning, and maybe, who knows, maybe it was the pickles.
Fans are sending pickles to him, right? They're actually pretty good. I've been eating the heck out of them. He came in one day to like 6 jars of mason jars of pickles and peppers, and I'm like, ooh, those look good.
Merrill Kelly, after the game, on the treatment he used to avoid cramping. I don't know if he mentioned the pickles or not.
I mean, I didn't cramp, so whatever we did worked. I think that's the tough part. It's hard to say, like, we did this and it didn't work today, or we did that and it did work today. But yeah, I tried moving around a little bit more, trying not to shut down, just trying not to cool off too much. I felt like I was maybe trying to down-regulate a little bit too much in between innings and then expecting, the nervous system to go out and fire. So I think it was probably just a little confused. So that's what we went with today. And, we'll keep going at it. But it was, as far as that goes, obviously we didn't get the win on the field. But for me, the no cramps was obviously the win.
6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, no walks, struck out 6, quality start by every measure. Ran out of gas a little bit. He was asked the question, and I don't have time to play it, but he does not think the new treatment plan for the cramping wore him down, and that's why he ran out of gas. But he very clearly ran out of gas after that 5th inning. He didn't look like the same guy.
What was he doing? Was he running the bleachers in between innings?
I don't know. I think he was just moving around.
Okay, I'm done.
Active
rest. Check my hand. I got to go run the bleachers.
Just kind of move around a little bit. Don't just sit down. Go walk around or something. Yeah, but whatever it worked.
We do that at the station all the time.
Yeah.
During commercial breaks. All right, go for a walk.
Take a lap.
Go for a walk. We're old, though. He's not old. But, yeah, we're going to go for a walk. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
When we come back on the Burns and Gambo show here on Arizona Sports, Brian Gregory getting to work as the general manager of the Phoenix Suns. Is the previous general manager of the Phoenix Suns the model for who he should want to be when he rebuilds this basketball team? That's coming up on Burns and Gambo.
Bickley and Morana mornings.
Can I make a confession? My whole philosophy has been so shaken by this past basketball season because the Suns had no edge at all. Patrick Beverley, you want to come back from Europe? Dylan Brooks, you want to play here? Draymond Green, you want to play for the Suns?
What?
I think it is a necessary ingredient for good basketball.
They got to get some nasty to them. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Nobody ever fears the Phoenix Suns.
Right.
The way teams punked them this year, it was beyond depressing.
Let me amend my confession. Patrick Beverley, you're not welcome.
Bickley and Morana, mornings on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
They don't fear the Suns, but, we don't fear the Reaper. Yeah, that's what you've got to fear. Hey, here to tell you about Christian Brothers and all the great things they're doing for people with their plumbing tune-up, which people love the tune-ups because they hate the inspections. A lot of people don't like the inspections. These companies come out and they say, okay, we're going to inspect everything for you, and then we're not actually doing any work. We're just going to inspect everything for you, and then we can tell you what you need to pay for. And that's okay for some people. It's good to have everything checked out. I do believe in that. I think that's worth it. But how about a plumbing special right now for $129 at Christian Brothers? What are they going to do? They're going to come out. They're going to flush your water heater. They're going to flush your water heater for you. It's good to do every year. Water heater, a lot of hard water sediments settle at the bottom of the tank. You got to flush those out so they don't erode the tank and eat the tank away and then, cause a hole, and then you've got a problem. You need a new water heater. So you need to get your water heater flushed once a year. They're going to come out for $129. They're going to do that. They're also going to check the water pressure to make sure you have the right water pressure coming out of all your different spots in the house. Every faucet that you have, the shower, make sure the water pressure is right. They're going to inspect all the fixtures, including the hose bibs. They're going to give you a free water quality test, too. A lot of people aren't really sure what type of water they have. They're going to give you a free water quality test because Arizona has terrible water, and they'll let you know how your water ranks compared to the rest of Arizona. It's all for just $129 when you call Christian Brothers at 602-222-3535. That's 602-222-3535.
Starting May 8th, the D-backs host Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers at Chase Field for a 4-game series. Secure your tickets for the matchup at dbacks.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimers. I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Your summer starts here.
Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles.
That's me.
They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake.
Shh, quiet, Lou.
And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving. Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner.
Fish for dinner.
No, stop.
This is bad.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota. But it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
Pioneer Landscape Centers is now part of Site 1 Landscape Supply. That means more products, better pricing, and 14 locations. We stock bulk rock, sand, soil, hardscapes, artificial turf, tools, lighting, and now irrigation at select branches. Visit pioneerco.com to find your nearest branch and order pickup or job site delivery.
Arizona sports. Suns. A new horizon shaping the Suns' future this offseason.
We're going to make some changes.
With Burns and Gambo.
Over the last 2 years, James and I have spent a lot of time together, and we have a great relationship. There's the respect level from my end is incredible. I think we're fortunate to have James stay in that senior advisory role. He's going to lean in and help with the player 15 group, with the Suns and with the Mercury. So again, I think it's our relationship will only continue to grow on the professional and on the personal level, because he's a heck of a guy. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to that.
That's Brian Gregory, new Suns GM, yesterday in his press conference, again, that we carried live here on Arizona Sports during our show, in particular the Burns and Gambo show. James Jones staying for now in the organization, moving more to a senior executive type of role in which he won't obviously have the say that Brian Gregory will. Brian Gregory is going to be the decision maker when it comes to the front office. Gambo, if I were to say to you to describe as simply as you can the James Jones era for the Phoenix Suns, James Jones in particular during the James Jones era, how would you describe it?
Successful.
Okay.
They made it to the NBA Finals. He didn't draft Devin Booker, but he drafted. He was there, and it was still Ryan McDonough with Mikal Bridges as well. But on that team,
I think James had a lot of influence on that pick.
Ryan is the one that made the trade. He could have had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They hesitated, and they didn't end up with Shai. And then because they didn't want to give up like this unprotected pick that they had in one of the years. And then finally, because Ryan liked two guys that he wanted to trade for. One was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the other one was Mikal Bridges. And they hesitated on the trade to be able to put themselves in a position to get Shai because they didn't want to include this unprotected pick down the road, which I can't remember which year it was, but it was one of the last 2000-something, 20 pick or 21. And then they eventually gave it. They eventually gave that pick when they got Mikal. So they gave that pick when they ended up doing the deal, I think, with Philly, and they ended up with Mikal Bridges. That was right. But then Cam Johnson, the Chris Paul trade.
Yep.
I think a lot of that was James put a roster together with good role players that we all liked, Cam Payne and Dario Saric and Frank Kaminsky and just a bunch of good role players. So I think that he did. I think it was successful. Now, he obviously made mistakes and passed on. Well,
hello,
Tyrese
Halliburton
for Jalen Smith.
Yeah, hello,
Jalen
Tyrese.
Smith.
It is. And Dan Bickley, our colleague and friend, wrote a column about this at ArizonaSports.com, in which he said it's ironic that we're having this conversation about James Jones today, when one of his literal greatest mistakes is on the biggest stage and he's just killing it right now, right? So it's like, boy, we are really accentuating the negative here. I'm glad. I agree. I think it was a very successful run for James Jones. And
we had a story about it was a complex legacy. I think was the story we had up
complicated.
There.
I believe is the word that Bickley used in the headline of the story. Yeah, it was a complicated legacy. You don't think it was? I don't think it was that complicated at all. I think he was a very successful legacy.
I think it was successful because it led to a lot of wins.
I'll take that back. I think what made it complicated, I think what you could argue makes it complicated is how it ended in particular, and we've had this conversation 100 times, so we don't need to have it again, is just kind of the uncertainty of who was calling the shots at the end, right? Like for the last 2 years. How much of it was James, how much of it was Matt, how much of it was Josh. And for me anyway, that's where I could say, okay, it's a little complicated just trying to figure out who was responsible for what at the end. But it was also kind of the same conversation at the beginning. Who was responsible for what? Who was responsible for Mikal? Who was responsible, when there was the awkward overlap between Ryan McDonough, who was clearly not the favorite son anymore, and James Jones, who clearly was the favorite son of Robert Sarver. Who exactly was responsible for what during that muddy time? Is anybody, right? It's kind of the same thing as it was with James at the end. All I know is this, and I looked this up today because I thought, okay, I'm not a fan of what is going down with Brian Gregory. We've talked about this again, round and round. But if he's going to make this right, and if he's going to do this right, I went back and looked at James Jones's first off season as the true general manager of the Phoenix Suns.
Was that when he hired Monty?
Yes. No Ryan McDonough.
No, he hired Monty.
James Jones. Okay, not only did he hire Monty.
Traded for Chris?
That was the season later. That was the next season. These are the players that he brought in. Okay. Now and I won't color the conversation with my opinion here. I'll just give you the players. Here are players that were new to the organization that he brought in when he took over. Aaron Baines, Javon Carter, Ty Jerome, Cam Johnson, Frank Kaminsky, Cameron Payne, Ricky Rubio, Dario Saric. Now, before you say where's Kelly Oubre? Oubre was already with the Suns the year before, so right. he had joined. Now, I believe James. Well, actually, I think you can count Kelly if you wanted to, because I think that was a mid-season acquisition of Kelly Oubre, and at that point, James was the general manager. But let's not count him for now. That's a hell of a splash, Gambo, for your first.
A lot of good players.
Right? Like, listen to Aaron Baines, Javon Carter, Ty Jerome, Cam Johnson, Frank Kaminsky, Cameron Payne, Ricky Rubio, Dario Saric with Monty Williams as your coach. Culture-changing guys in one off season. You want a blueprint to follow if you're Brian Gregory? There it is.
But then, you know what? Like, that season in the bubble was so satisfying that they finished 8-0, and you thought, oh my goodness, the future is so bright, and then they get rid of those guys and they trade for Chris Paul. So like when they traded for Chris Paul, they traded Rubio and they traded Oubre in that deal for Chris. So like they moved on from those guys.
Ty Jerome too was gone.
Ty Jerome didn't do anything to help the Phoenix Suns.
No.
We like Ty Jerome now, but when they had him, he wasn't anything.
Yeah, but I also felt like, he got rid of a lot of those guys, but he also kept the ones that in some ways needed to be kept, right? Like Cam Johnson, Kaminsky stayed around, Cam Payne stayed around, Dario Saric stayed around. Like, I get he didn't keep all of those guys, but you had a chance for Chris Paul. You had to go for it if you were James, I think.
Right. And I think a lot of people might not have, because you started to look at Chris and his age and, because you start to worry when players get to be that age. And so when they traded after that 8-0 run, and then they made that trade for, and Ricky Rubio was like, I was like, hey, it was the first time they had a grown-up in the room with point guard.
Amen to that.
But you talk about Chris Paul, who's going to go to the Hall of Fame. You get a chance to get him, but I think he was like 35 years old when they got him, Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think it didn't end well, but obviously it started terrific. I mean, it was, to me, I'll never second guess that. We can second guess Kevin Durant all we want. We can second guess Bradley Beal all we want. I will never second guess the acquisition of Chris Paul, no matter what the cost was.
It was great.
Was fantastic.
It was terrific.
Yeah, that's my point about it. Okay, I guess enough about not necessarily the bad about Brian Gregory. I'm going to have my doubts for a long, long time. But if he wants to make it right, I'd love to be able to have this conversation 5 years from now and say, look at what he did in his first offseason. Look at who he brought in and see if it compares to what James Jones did in his first true offseason as Suns general manager. Because that was a banger for James. It really was. He went 4 for 5 with 3 doubles and a home run, man. I think he killed that offseason.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have a big commodity to trade either.
No.
Like they didn't have all these big, you talked about what they traded, like Abdul Nader, Ty Jerome, Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio. Like Gregory's got Kevin Durant to trade.
Yeah.
You get to trade Kevin Durant.
Yeah, so it's you do it right, and you've got a chance. Treat Mom to a day at the ballpark. Head to the contest page right now at ArizonaSports.com for your chance to win tickets to see the D-backs take on the Dodgers on Mother's Day. When we come back, who's the closer of the Arizona Diamondbacks? Who's the catcher of the Arizona Diamondbacks? That's next on Burns and Gambo.
Wolf and Luke, middays 10 to 2.
He says, I talked to Bradley Beal about summer plans. Did that conversation be like, hey, Brad, you traveling maybe this summer, hanging out with the family, maybe waiving a no-trade clause, maybe, go see the beach or whatever, maybe accepting a trade from us to a different... I don't know how that conversation went. There's no way they're both back, right? I mean, otherwise, then what are the big changes? Because even your GM was kind of here last year. So your only big change would be a coach. And again, I do think that was a change that absolutely had to be made, but it wasn't 100% of the issue last year.
Wolf and Luke, middays 10 to 2 on Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Licensed, bonded, insured. Thousands of new roofs installed, residential and commercial, and free on-site estimates. That is JLC Roofing. Now, for a lot of you out there, you may need a new roof, and for some, you may just need a repair. believe it or not, a lot of roofs can be repaired, and that can buy you more time without having to replace your roof. As one of Arizona's most experienced roofing companies, third-generation family-owned roofing company, they understand at JLC Roofing the urgency when an emergency roof repair is needed. So if you're dealing with, hey, I got a roof that probably needs to be repaired, request an estimate. They do free estimates. They service the entire valley. They also do commercial roofing, retail, government, hospitals, banks, schools, warehouses, office buildings, you name it, they've roofed it. And they can do it for you as well. All you have to do is give them a call or go online. Online is jlcroof.com or call them at 602-ROOFING. It's an easy number, 602-ROOFING, or online at jlcroof.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Hey everybody, Dan Bickley here with a real-life story from Life Changer Loan. So one of our listeners is in the pool business. His wife stays at home with their kids. They're far from wealthy, but they're responsible with money. They owed over $500,000 on their home at 6.5%. They changed to a Life Changer Loan. They're paying off their home in 8 years, saving over $490,000 in interest. Find out what Life Changer Loan can do for you at 480-504-0844, online at lifechangerloan.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
All right, back here for Liberty GMC. They're in Peoria, 87th Avenue and West Bell Road in Peoria, or you can shop and buy online all the time. LibertyGMCAZ.com, home of tariff-free inventory and home of Memorial Month savings. Notice I didn't say Memorial Day savings. I said Memorial Month savings because Chris Scott, the GM at Liberty GMC, is taking those Memorial Day weekend savings and he's just spread them out all month long at Liberty GMC. Fantastic deals all month long, like saving $12,250 off a brand new 2025 GMC Sierra 1500, best truck out on the market, or $13,000 off a Hummer EV. You've been thinking about make the switch, do it in style. Go with the Hummer EV and get $13,000 off. There is a deal for everyone during the big-time Memorial Month savings going on at Liberty GMC, 87th Avenue and West Bell Road in Peoria. Shop and buy online all the time. LibertyGMCAZ.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
I'm Minter Varel, this with Trending Now. It's presented by Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Final from Chase Field today, 7-1 Mets. And with it, the Mets take the series 2-1. In the loss, Corbin Carroll hit his 11th home run of the season, while Merrill Kelly threw a quality outing. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, and 6 strikeouts. Next up for the Diamondbacks, it's their first of 4 games against the Dodgers at Chase Field. It's also the first time they are facing an opponent in the NL West this season. In case you missed new Suns GM Brian Gregory's introductory presser, we've got complete reaction from our Kellen Olson and our Dan Bickley that you can read right now on the Arizona Sports app and ArizonaSports.com. And in the NBA playoffs, they are just now beginning the second half of action, or rather there's several minutes elapsed in the second half. Apologies, speaking voice man. 57-48 in favor of the Celtics over the Knicks as Boston tries to even the series at a game apiece before it heads to the Big Apple. And then later tonight, we've got coverage of Game 2 between the 4th-seeded Nuggets and the 1st-seeded Thunder in Oklahoma City. Nuggets trying to shock the world and go up 2-0. They've already got the 1-0 start. Coverage starts at 6 on ESPN 620 AM and the Arizona Sports app. This report is brought to you by America Roofing. If you have any water damage from the rain this week and you want a free estimate, you can save 10% with America Roofing, Arizona's largest roofer. Online at americaroofingco.com.
Hey, it's Luke. How important is a bounce-back start for Brandon Pfaadt against the Dodgers? We'll discuss tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's Wolf and Luke on Arizona Sports.
It was not a save situation last night for Shelby Miller when he came into the game. And of course, there was no save situation today because the Diamondbacks got blown out by the Mets 7-1. And I say blown out. It was a close game until the very end, so I probably shouldn't have said that. But in yesterday's game, Gambo, you noticed it. I noticed it too. Even though it wasn't a save situation, it was Shelby Miller's game in the 9th inning. Now, I don't think anything differently would have been done if it was, in fact, a save situation. I think Shelby Miller would have been the guy out there. But even then, under the circumstances last night, I thought it was pretty revealing who got the ball in the 9th with the opportunity to close out a game that we all would have liked to see the Diamondbacks get, and it was Shelby Miller. Is he the closer right now of the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Seems like it.
Does.
I mean, it seems like it. I was, Ginkel pitched the 8th. So, and Ginkel's great in that role. And I think he could be the closer, but he is really good in that 8th inning role. He pitches a scoreless 8th, and then you come up with Shelby Miller. You got no A.J. Puck. You got no Justin Martinez. And then, he comes in. He did walk Soto. Then he struck out Alonso. Then you had that blooper to right by Marte, and then Nemo lined out, and then Vientos, ends up flying out. Shelby's a veteran, and I think, at this point, Lovello I'm going to go with the veteran. I trust him. Nothing's going to phase this guy, because your closer. Look, we do worry about J. Mart mentally in the closer role. We do. We're not going to lie. We think about it. He's a young kid. He hasn't been in a lot of situations. Shelby Miller's been around the block a few times.
He sure has.
So I think that's probably a trust level that Lovello has with him. Is that what I liked about Shelby, and you did too, is, man, you could come in and have him pitch the 5th and the 6th, the 6th and the 7th. He can come into a tough inning and 2 on and try to get you out of it. But I think right now, for the time being, it does look like he's the guy that Lovello is trying. Even in the games that they haven't used him, Lovello has said, "Hey, you know what? If we would have got to the 9th inning, it would have been Shelby Miller. Like, this guy's down and that guy's down. But if we got to the 9th, it would have been Shelby."
Yeah, and I've got some sound here that kind of backs that up, that sort of suggests that's exactly what it is. I mean, Shelby Miller, when he was on Bickley and Murata less than a week ago, said, "Look, I haven't been told that I'm the new closer, but..."
No, I think it's going to be I think he's just going to throw, which guys he thinks are probably play matchups and all of that. I think, we have tons of guys down there who are capable of throwing leverage innings and closing out ball games. We got Ginks back, which is huge, and Beeks has been throwing the ball well, and RT and, Nelly, if he needs to come in. We have a bunch of weapons down there. So I think we're all prepared for any moments that's thrown at us. Obviously down there in the bullpen, you never know what you're going to get type situation. Mm-hmm. So you just kind of got to be ready for your name to be called, and we're always down there getting hot, and we kind of have an idea of what innings we might throw, but
he certainly does seem to. He's kind of not. He's not saying that he's the guy, but he's
saying all the right things that you want a guy to say.
Of course, and if you just look at the actions of how these games are going down, I think it's pretty clear that for now, Shelby Miller is the trusted guy in that spot. Now, I watched last night's game. So did you. It wasn't a safe situation. It was kind of an awkward inning. He threw a lot of pitches. It felt like that game was teetering on the edge of getting a little bit sideways on everybody with runners at second and third, and kind of a situation to navigate, but he got his way through it. I still I still think in a perfect world, for as much as Shelby Miller has been around the block a time or two and is trusted, I still think in a perfect world, he slides back down to a non-closer's role, yet still high leverage. I think what's really clear, too, is that that Torey Lovullo really likes Kevin Ginkel as the 8th inning guy or the 7th inning guy and not as the closer. Because it just feels like that is Torey's comfort zone, to have Kevin in those spots and not in the 9th. Maybe that changes, but I think that's where he likes him.
Yeah, I think sometimes, too, I think it does depend on, and one of the reasons you like Ginkel, you want Ginkel facing the heart of a lineup. You want Ginkel coming in and being able to face, the toughest guys. If that's the 8th inning, that's the 8th inning, right? I mean, sometimes games are really saved in the 8th inning because, you've got the 2, 3, and 4 coming up, or the 1, 2, and 3 coming up. And so if you can get your 8th inning guy to get those outs, they're very important. That's why they have the hold save now. The hold stat now in baseball, because they value the hold. They value the guy who can come in there and hold the game. So I agree. I like, to me, Ginkel 7th. I'm good with Ginkel anywhere. Shelby Miller's not like, I don't think like 3 months ago that we would have been thinking Shelby Miller was going to be the closer on this baseball team. We weren't even sure he was going to, when spring training started, we weren't even sure he was going to make the roster. I think it took some injuries for him to make the roster. But, again, he's a veteran pitcher, and Lovullo trusts him.
Yeah, no doubt. And to your point last night, Kevin Ginkel, when he came in, it was Alvarez, Taylor, and then Lindor to end the inning, but obviously going back to the top of the lineup. Mike Hazen was on Wolf and Luke today. And with all eyes on the Justin Martinez situation, when he comes back, what role does he pitch when he does come back? Here's what Mike had to say about it today when he was on with Wolf and Luke.
Look, we worked him pretty hard. He had a little shoulder soreness for 3 or 4 days. That sort of rectified itself. He came back. His velocity was down a little bit. I think we were more concerned with the drop in velocity because in some cases that can be indicative of something. So, and obviously we're going to take very good care of this guy. So we shut it down. His mechanics look like they were off a little bit. He's dropping his arm a little. Again, all things that we want to make sure we're staying on top of. We got the MRI. It looked good. And I think he's going to build his way back. He's itching and ready to get back on the mound. We're going to get him back throwing again. It shouldn't be a long downtime because he hasn't been down a long period of time. But, look, guys that throw 102 miles an hour, you got to be mindful and careful of their shoulder and their elbow, and we want to make sure that we keep this guy in a good spot.
I want to play one more, and this one is about whether Martinez is dealing with anything, and he doesn't think that's the case.
When I look at what was happening when he was on the mound, he said he felt fine. We saw mechanical things happening under the hood, and his velocity was down a little bit. Like that was the root of it. He was getting taken out at 97 miles an hour. Usually that ball's 101. Okay, that 4-mile-an-hour drop in velocity allowed Tyrone Taylor to hit a ball out of the park against him. That, I think it's probably more mechanics and things along those lines. Yes, that's what we think it is right now. But we'll see when he gets back on the mound and starts revving the engine back up again. He was coming off of a little bit of a shoulder soreness, so there was something there.
Yeah.
We didn't think it was a full-blown injury, but there was something there that he was dealing with for a few days.
That was Mike earlier today. I'm curious what role he plays when he comes back, whenever that is, and maybe you
throw him right back in there to close a game, or do you try to get him 1 or 2 low-leverage situations? Because remember the other day, they had Ryan Thompson up and ready to go because they were kind of anticipating that, hey, usually when a closer comes in, that's it. There's nobody in the bullpen warming up. It's your closer. He's going to win or lose the game for you. Lovullo had Ryan Thompson ready to go. He kind of knew in advance, I got to make sure I've got somebody ready.
My best guess would be he does not, whenever it is that he comes back, as long as he's, the velocity is back in the bullpens and mechanically they check under the hood and everything's okay, I think it's going to be lower leverage stuff at first for a week or two just to make sure everything is steady as she goes with the arm and the velo and all of that stuff. And then and only then, after a couple of weeks of that, will you start to think about putting him in high leverage situations. Now, who knows? Maybe the back end of the bullpen dictates that you move that faster. And if Shelby starts to struggle or if you start to run out of options, maybe you put J. Mart back in there before all that happens, but I got to think they're going to really take their time before they put all of that stuff back on his plate just to see how he handles it. That's just my guess.
I think you're probably right. Low leverage situation first. Get through with that. Okay, maybe we'll put you in the 7th to the 8th, and if that goes well, okay, maybe we can put you back at closer. But but it also depends on Shelby Miller.
No doubt.
If Shelby Miller comes out and just continues to pitch well, and Jay Martin may not be the closer. So a lot depends on what these other guys do, like Shelby Miller, with these opportunities.
When we come back here on this Wednesday, how many of these Arizona Cardinals rookies have a realistic shot at taking home some end-of-the-year hardware? One in particular? That's coming up next on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Suns' new general manager, Brian Gregory.
When we talk about identity, when we talk about culture, that's who you are on a daily basis. So that's not just in practice. That's out in your individual skill work. That's in the weight room. That's in the training room. All those things come into play. And to be honest with you, that's our organization.
We talk about a new horizon for the Suns today on Arizona Sports 98.7, the Arizona Sports YouTube channel, and the Arizona Sports app.
Sanderson Ford, 51st Avenue in Glendale, right now from America, for America, employee pricing. Plus, you could receive all, and I mean all, of the incentives from Ford and APR rates during the Platinum 70th Anniversary Sale. 70 years for Sanderson Ford. And they've got a great selection of vehicles, close to 600 right now on the lot. So when you're looking for a Ford F-150, they got a ton of Ford F-150s. They've got 62 2025 Ford F-150s. They've got 32 2024 Ford Super Duty F-550 DRWs. They've got a lot of Bronco Sports on the lot right now. They got a lot of Ford Broncos and Bronco Sports and Mavericks and Mustangs and Escapes. So if you're looking for a great deal on a new vehicle, you're saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to go through the summer with my car because the air conditioning doesn't work very well and I need new tires. Just go trade it in at Sanderson Ford. Get a great price for your trade-in and walk away in something brand new. They're on 51st Avenue in Glendale, or go to sandersonford.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Are you afraid of running out of money in retirement? If so, you're not alone. In fact, studies show it's people's #1 concern, but there is a solution. Canvas Annuity offers a retirement savings product with one of the most competitive crediting rates in the country, up to 6.2% per year. The best part is you can get access to these industry-leading rates online in a few simple steps by visiting canvasannuity.com. Great rates, simple online products.
Tired of fighting for your store's last bottle of water or lugging hundreds of bottles of water each year from the store to the car to the fridge to the recycling? For less than $1 a day from Parker & Sons, you can have an unlimited supply of bottle-quality water right at your tap. Drinking water keeps you healthier, aids in weight loss, keeps skin hydrated, and flushes your body of toxins. Call Parker for your free estimate on a reverse osmosis system at 602-2-REPAIR or visit parkerandsons.com.
Hi, I'm Lori Clark, owner of Right Way Roofing, where we believe there's only one way, the right way. We only use the most durable, top-quality products at a fair price. As a third-generation roofing company, we believe that if you have a lifetime tile, you should have a lifetime underlayment, which is why we only use the best products and offer the best warranties in the business. Look us up at azroof.com for a free estimate.
Hang on a minute. I got to break in here and tell everyone about the Memorial Preview Sale going on now at Brooklyn Betting. That's right, now through May 14th. Everything in store and online is 25% off. Everything is 25% off at Brooklyn Betting. Brooklyn Betting has 12 basin locations and absolutely no pushy salespeople. Tell them Wolf sent you and they will hook you up. For the best sleep ever, get the best mattress ever during the Memorial Preview Sale at Brooklyn Betting.
Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
Burns and Gambo, what's on tonight?
All right, what's on tonight? The games we're going to watch tonight brought to you by Global Credit Union. Explore the benefits of becoming a member at globalcu.org. Your world of financial possibilities. One NBA game going on right now. The Celtics and the Knicks playing game 2 of their best-of-7 series. And right now, it is the Boston Celtics with a 73-61 lead with about 7 seconds to go in the third quarter.
I told Mitch the other day, if I was a gambler, I would put so much money on the Celtics in this game.
Would you? Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have bet the house on the Celtics.
Seemed like a good bet,
right? I mean, whatever the point spread was, I would have taken game 2 in Boston. I would have taken the Celtics.
I don't know what the Mitch or Warren. Will you look up and tell me what the spread was on that game? Because I agree with
I said it to Mitch yesterday. If you want a no-brainer bet, take the Celtics.
The Celtics are only 8 of 28 from 3. They're not shooting that much better from 3. Yeah, they're struggling. Wow. The number that you can't look away from, Mikal Bridges, no points. He's 0 for 8, 0 for 2 from 3. He's got 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals, but he's a minus 19 on the floor. He's got 0 points for the Knicks.
They went all in on. Think about all the draft picks they gave up for Karl Anthony Towns and for Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, Mikal. Right? Come on, Mikal. Come on, we're rooting for you, babe. What was the spread? What was the spread on that game?
Celtics 10.5.
What are they up by now?
12. 12. That's close. And then later tonight, starting at 6:30, it's the Nuggets and the Thunder. Game 2 of that series. Denver leads 1-0, and that's going to be on ESPN 620. You can hear that game on ESPN 620 tonight. No Diamondbacks baseball, obviously. They already played. They already lost. NHL tonight, you've got game 2 between the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. That one, I think, is 3-2 Toronto going into the second intermission. Stars and the Jets coming up later tonight. Did you see the Utah Mammoth and their new logo?
I did.
Our former hockey team. Yeah. You know what? I know I probably might piss off what few Coyote fans there are left by saying this. I thought it was a really, really cool logo. I mean, maybe not as cool as the Kachina Coyote. I'll get you that. But the name is cool. The logo is cool. The colors are cool.
They moved up 10 spots in the draft.
4th
pick overall.
Sucks for anybody who is a hockey fan here in the Valley, but if you're up in Utah, you got to be pretty happy with this hockey team that fell in your lap with their new look, their new name, moving up in the lottery. They
didn't make the playoffs, though. They did not make the playoffs.
No.
They were hopeful that they were going to make it. They were hanging around for a while, but they didn't make it.
Look, I know there's a lot of people who did not, make the trip with them to Utah who were let go ultimately. So I'm not who are unemployed because the Coyotes left, and of course I'm not happy for them. I'm not happy that any of that happened. But we got to know Bill Armstrong pretty well over the course of the few years that he was here, hosting a lot of radio shows with him. And he's, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he gets a budget to play with and some money to spend and this rebranding and this new identity and an owner who's just funneling all sorts of money his way. Good for him, because he was living pretty lean there for a while when he was here, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you always had to trade players to, get under the salary. They were, look, let's be honest. I mean, they were losing, 30 to 35, sometimes $40 million a year. Every year they were here. $30 to $40 million a year. Nobody was making any money. That's why everybody just wanted it for the development. Nobody really wanted the team. Everybody just wanted the development, all of these guys. And, Elman eventually got a development, but then it was too far away, and then they tried to, bring it to Tempe, and then the vote failed, and in the end they ended up moving. But yeah, the resources are important. It's, you want to be able to keep your best players, and Armstrong was doing the best he could, but he was handcuffed here.
No doubt about it. We'll probably, I wouldn't be surprised if we talk more about this a little bit tomorrow, but today on ESPN.com. And by the way, I believe we're scheduled to have Cody Simon on the show tomorrow, the fourth round pick, the linebacker out of Ohio State. We're looking forward to that. On ESPN today, NFL experts debate the draft, and the questions that were posed to a dozen different NFL experts on ESPN's website were these: Offensive Rookie of the Year predictions, Defensive Rookie of the Year predictions, best rookie classes, favorite picks, and head-scratching moves of the draft, which is now almost 2 weeks old. There was only one mention of the Arizona Cardinals in the entire piece, and that came under the category of who is your early pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN selected Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Arizona Cardinals.
I saw that.
Writing, he might just be the most explosive defensive lineman in the draft, and Coach Jonathan Gannon will scheme ways for him to affect the quarterback and disrupt the game. Couple that with Arizona's rising profile overall, and Nolan will fend off Abdul Carter for this award.
That would be fantastic. I mean, when they picked him, we had talked a lot about him as a possibility, obviously, with the Gambo 5. And then when they picked him, and I loved when he was, let me talk to Will, because and then hold off, that whole conversation with Gannon because he wanted to go talk to his guys, and I think that they've got some guys that are really gung ho, to get going and play well. I wouldn't be surprised if Nolan ends up being, one of the more dominant players on this line. That him and Josh Sweat could form a really good tandem, inside outside. In what they could do.
Well, and don't forget about Darius Robinson, too. I mean, the guy was a first-round pick a year ago as well. Right. I mean, there's some...
that's a good point because we just, he didn't play well in the snaps he played. But he just hasn't, he wasn't healthy. And you're right. I mean, he has a chance to be something special as well. So they've got a lot of young guys. They've got a good mixture, right? They've got a good mixture of young guys. They've got some of the older veterans like a Calais, and they've got some guys that have been around for 4 or 5 years like a Josh Sweat. That it's a good combination of players to have on that defensive front seven.
Yeah, the thing I couldn't get out of my mind is, and this is nothing against Walter Nolan at all because he might be, I wonder if the Cardinals have 2 Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates on their roster, given where they got Will Johnson. I mean,
Johnson.
Yeah, I think it's fair to at least wonder, given that you got first-round talent in the second round, that if he's healthy and everything's fine, do they have 2 of those players on the roster? I think you can ask that and wonder that because I think the impact could be that big for Will Johnson. Again, like I say, we'll probably talk more about this tomorrow because we are out of time. Arizona Sports at Night is next, and then we'll see you tomorrow, straight up 2 o'clock right here on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Have a great night, everyone.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Subscribe to the Arizona Sports YouTube channel, full of Get It Nowhere Else content from Arizona's biggest sports personalities. Bickley and Murata, Wolf and Luke, Burns and Gambo, and more. Search up Arizona Sports on YouTube and hit the subscribe button.
Hey, Ron Wolfley here for my brothers over at Presidential Pools. Go to presidentialpools.com. Are you looking to build your dream pool? Go with the name Arizona trusts most. That's Presidential Pools. As the #1 pool builder in Arizona by volume, they earn my business, and now I'm recommending them to you because of what they did at the Wolfley compound. And to show their gratitude for military members and first responders, they offer exclusive discounts. Presidential Pools, they love our military and first responders. Go to presidentialpools.com.
Hey, homeowners, discount agents might save you a little on commission, but if your home doesn't sell or sells for far less, you'll pay a big price. Avoid this mistake and have Carol Royce, your home sold guaranteed realty, show you how to price right and attract serious buyers. Carol will even guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay the difference. Don't wait. Call Carol Royce today or visit carolhasthebuyers.com. That's carolhasthebuyers.com. Carol and seller must agree on price and possession.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Ready! Hi, my name is Brent Sanderson with Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning. What makes Ready Services Plumbing and Air Conditioning a great choice for customers is that you know when Ready comes to your home, you're going to get an honest assessment, a positive experience from start to finish, a very comfortable, no sales experience. Our mission is to come in, assess the situation, troubleshoot, and solve your problems and leave you smiling.
ReadyServices.com. Ready.
So you're in pretty decent shape, but okay, as we get older, we lose a step. Totally natural part of being a guy. And at Vital for Men, we got your back by helping you get it back. Testosterone replacement therapy is designed to make you feel powerful, sharp, and renewed. Get started today with a free test at one of our 3 Valley-wide locations. And on top of that, we're excited to offer semaglutide to support your health journey even further. Visit Vital4Men.com today. Vital4Men.com. It's time to get it back.
Southwest Gas, proudly fueling over 1 million homes and businesses across Arizona with safe and reliable natural gas service. Hi, it's Vince Murata. Natural gas not only supports lifestyle, it supports economic development. Many large-scale businesses that have expanded operations into Phoenix are dependent on natural gas to support their business and production. Choosing Southwest Gas means choosing an energy provider committed to trust and excellence. Learn how Southwest Gas is supporting growth in our communities and making a positive impact for future generations at swgas.com.
Dan Bickley with my guy Bear, one of the Henley brothers that owns Walt's TV and Appliance. And Bear, why should our listeners shop at Walt's?
Well, Dan, we're all about making it easy. No membership fees, no loyalty points. You get the best price every time. If you find a better price somewhere else, we'll match it and give you 30 days of price protection.
That's pretty sweet. No risk, just great deals. And don't forget, folks, drop my name. You'll get a 3-year warranty for free or 10% off installation labor.
Shop local. Shop Waltz.
Slim down this summer and rock that swimsuit with Red Mountain Weight Loss. Get started today, and our expert doctors will help maximize your results from brand name medications like Wegovy and Zepbound. Red Mountain is the trusted leader in medical weight loss, helping over 1 million patients lose weight fast. Our doctors deliver safe, effective solutions tailored to your needs. Lose weight and look great just in time for summer at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com.
KMBP FM Phoenix.
Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
On the Arizona Sports app and on 98.7.